Equity is one of the less obvious attributes that the CASPer exam tests for. Loosely, equity should be taken as providing people with equal opportunities, equal access, and crucially treating every person the same, or in a way that allows the same chances. It means never denying people access to treatment if you are a doctor, and showing that you value all of your patients. It means empowering and speaking up for the less advantaged members of our society. An equity scenario should be relatively easy to recognize. Unlike other CASPer question types, there might not be a huge overlap with other attributes and competencies. Let's look at a typical equity prompt. You should treat everyone the same and speak to everyone in the same way. Now, let's consider 3 questions that might follow such a prompt. Do you agree with this statement? How could you apply this statement to a career in medicine? Describe a situation in which you help someone else to treat others more fairly. Here, the exemplar questions are a little different to the ones that we use for most other attributes. Instead of interacting directly with a person, we need to consider our stance in the first question. The second question allows us to expand on our understanding of equity in our career path. Here, we have chosen medicine as an example. The third question allows us to describe a real example of equity from our life. Here we will develop techniques and structures for questions 1 and 3 above. Question 2 relies on your own reading and developing an understanding of the principle of equity, as well as your knowledge of your career path. Let's look at the first question. Do you agree with this statement? Your first step here is to break down what the statement might mean. In order to interact with it, you'll need a clear definition. You might choose to point out that this scenario describes equality rather than equity. Equity entails giving everyone the same opportunities, which might mean treating them a bit differently. You should then present a case for and against the statement. You might point out that treating everyone the same is an honorable intention on the one hand, but that speaking to everyone in the same way could actually lead to inequality on the other. E.g., some people require more attention and effort than others. You should then link the statement back to your understanding of equity and highlighting that your primary motivation is that everyone receives as much of a chance in life as possible. This is vital when considering equity. It is a concept that you must show an awareness of and an appreciation of. Whether you might agree with a particular statement or disagree, you should be able to show that you are in favor of treating others in the best way possible. Let's now look at the third question. Describe a situation in which you help someone else to treat others more fairly. This is an opportunity for you to show that you have put the principle of equity into practice. You should have an example of equitable behavior ready for the CASPer test. It is likely that one good example will be good enough for the test, so long as you're ready to adapt it to the exact demands of the question that you were asked. Here your approach should be as follows. Provide an overview of the situation so that the assessor reading the paper can quickly understand what was happening. Explain how the behavior of the other person was less than equitable. Ensure that you don't simply apportion blame, but rather that you provide some context as to their behavior. This is a good principle to bear in mind throughout the CASPer. You should always be understanding of others and show that you can empathize with them. Provide a description of how you helped them change their behavior. Outline why this shift in behavior was important. What effect did it have on others? Reflect on this change and your experience here. How did it help you to perceive equity? Try to bring your writing back in a full circle and show your learning.